Living in a swamp has its advantages. You will never be short of water, and it always has a very interesting smell. Why don't I show you how to make a freestyle house in a swamp? Don't you go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next episode from me, Avomance, in my building houses in places you wouldn't necessarily build houses, but they might look quite nice houses series. I've done the mountains, I've done the desert, I've even done underwater. What I've not done is be a swamp thing, and I've found this absolutely awesome swamp. Look at that behind me. That looks brilliant. So we are going to do a house that belongs in a swamp right there. Now, like we normally do, we are going to freestyle this, but I reckon this is the kind of block palette that I'm probably going to be using in this, plus almost certainly a few more that I've not got. Let's crack on with it. So what is the first thing you see when you look at a swamp? Is it the fact it's got a load of grass there? Is it trees with all kinds of creeperage going down? Or is it the fact that it's blooming wet? Yeah, that's the first thing I see. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create some legs. Otherwise, we're going to end up flooding ourselves out. And you can create this anywhere you want, really. So I'm just going to pop myself up so they show first. I'm going to make this a relatively large area. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then pop out 2 more. So that is going to be the width, and I think let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like that, and then we should be able to just come across, and by eye he reckons, is he that good? He reckons he is. And he's missed. Oh, it was worth a go though, right? There we go. So we were 1 out. So that is the initial platform. It's quite a big platform, but that's okay. These 4 elements here will support the platform that we want, but we don't want it just on the level of the water. We want it 1 up from the water. So let's get ourselves 1 up on each side. And then we're going to find our way to trim this off. And I quite like using upside down stairs, Avo, to trim this kind of thing off, because what that then gives you is an edge that is ever so slightly decorative, but also works a little bit for protection. So I'm just going to run this edge all the way along, and I'll be back when I've done that. So I've made that big 15 by 15 square, and I've also put a little 9 by 9 square on the side of it, because irregular sometimes does look good. The middle 3 here, I've put the steps the right way round, and you can probably guess that's going to be our entrance. I'm then taking just slabs, not bottom half slabs but top half slabs, because we're not going to be worried about mob spawning on this platform at all. We're going to have sufficient light and structure for it to not be a problem for us. So top slabs, so as we don't have any unnecessary little indentations, which would be very annoying. And we're going to fill in this whole top structure, and I'll be back when I'm finished. One slightly odd shaped platform, we're going to raise these up 1 more, because, well, basically because I want to, because we're going to create ourselves our little edge fence. Because with these kind of decking areas, I do like to make sure that I've got a fencing edge all the way around it. What I am going to do is I'm going to put one of those either side of that as well. Where's my fence? We're going to use spruce fence rather than any other fence, because it will then contrast with the deck, but will match really rather nicely with those oak logs. You can see how that colour scheme works really, really well together. So we're just going to trim this all the way around. And there is our compound, relatively safe and sound from most mobs. So the first thing we want to do is work out, where do we actually want our living space to be? Now, given that it is a swamp house, it is not going to be a particularly modern constructed base. It's going to be not rustic, but it's going to be quite, I don't know, clapped out, should we say? So let's get ourselves a little bit more oak loggage. We want plenty of space to be able to go around it. So I'm going to want to come in 1, 2, I'm going to put 1 there, 1, 2, 3, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One there. I think that will do nicely. And then that can come there. So we've got the shape of our house is a little bit like that. But it's not just going to be a standard box house. We are, however, going to raise these up the traditional 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and build the cross beams, because pretty much every house you ever make is going to have this supporting box structure to build around. What you do after you've created this box structure, however, is a completely different thing. So think of this bit as the pencil sketch part of a drawing that you're making. So if I come up here, that's going to be there, that's going to be there, and the lean-to has to start on top of that, otherwise it won't look right. So let's pop that up there. That's not going to work. That's going to come there. That's like that, that, and that. There. That goes there, that comes out, and then that comes out like that. So that's where the lean-to is going to be. And now we can bring it across. And I'm using these oak because it's going to match. We want this to kind of match up. It's going to be fairly basic when it's in a swamp. They're not going to have a massively wide palette of things to build with. It's going to be relatively meagre. They're probably sat playing a banjo somewhere. They're not going to be worried too much about what wood they're using. But that works quite nicely, actually. And then what we can do is we can create the gable on this end and the other end, and this can be a continuation of the slope, but the slope kind of gets steeper. I can see how this is going to work. So let me get my oak stairs. If I then put oak stairs along here, you can see where I'm going with it. So that's going to extend that a little more. So if I come up with like that and this, how does that look in profile? So that should have like a sweep, and then it starts to go up. Yep, that works quite nicely. We like that a lot. So I'm just going to continue this. I do, however, need... Now, what would be quite nice, actually, let's use some brick. Mossy brick. Now, the reason I went for mossy brick is fairly obvious. We are in a swamp. These things are probably going to be a little bit mossy. So if I come up and around like that, is that going to offset? No, that's not going to work, is it? So I need to come there. That's going to come underneath. That's going to come there. That's going to come underneath. That's better. And that is going to come there. That's much better. Okay, so I'm going to continue this roof at both ends, and I'll be back when I've done it. So we've got our roof area there with its lean-to. We need to trim that lean-to off. Well, we've got a mossy stone brick slab. Yes, we do. So if I put that there, is that going to work? I reckon that'll work, you know. Yep, we're going to stick with that for now at least. Maybe I'll change it later. Maybe I won't. But what I want to do is I want to get some of this oak block, these oak planks, and I want to rough up some of this roof, because the roof, in my mind, isn't going to be completely uniform like that. It's going to have just a few rough edges, in my opinion. So I reckon if we just pop in a few little bits of block, that gives this quite nice effect here. You can see like that. Where else can we put one? Let's come across the other side. Let's rough up this side as well, because again, you've got to have it uniform, otherwise it's not going to look right, but not so uniform as it looks like it's too well constructed. I hope that makes perfect sense. So we're going to pop one in there. We're going to have one in the middle there on that row. There and there. So how does that look? So there you go. So you can see it's a little bit rougher. I might put another one near the edge here actually. There we go, that's better. So it's a little bit rougher, but we still do want to put in a chimney. Now, for me, the chimney is likely to be towards the other end. This is going to be where he comes in. So you're going to have the chimney up at this end and probably slightly to the side. And this chimney is actually going to go down to the base. So we want it to be big enough for it to be actually be a little bit functional. So if I take out those three, and we go 1, 2, 3, that's going to be, I know I'm taking out the stuff that I've already put in there, that there and there, and take out those three, there and there. That gives us the chimney shape that we are after. We can then get ourselves a little bit of mossy cobblestone, a little bit of mossy stone brick. We can put mossy cobblestone in, we can make it look interesting like that. We could pop that bit in there, and we can continue to build that up any way we want. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to come underneath and I'm going to bring it downwards, and I'm going to bring, given that we're inside now, I'm going to bring it downwards with this cobble here. So let's just bring a whole line coming all the way along. That's great, and we're going to come back to doing something more with that in just a moment. I'm going to have to take that out and that out, aren't I? But that's cool, because then we're going to do something with it on this side. That works very, very nicely. So we're inside the house and we are going to create the wall. So I want, there we go, I want it to be off center, so slightly to the side there for the door, and then we're going to take the entire wall all the way along to the end. We're going to come across, and I know that's coming underneath there, don't worry about that for now, and come across there like that. I can then bring this down. Where's my brick? There it is. I can bring this down, so as this comes into line there, that's great. So that's going to come in like that, and that's going to come in like that. Okay, you'll see where I'm going with it in a minute, I reckon. So that's going there, and that's going there like that, and that can then come out. This can then come around there, and there. We're gonna, that looks really flat and horrible. We're gonna do something with that in a sec. But that is, just get that out there like that, and that out there like that. That's cool. So we're going to bring that cobble back, and we're going to build the wall up, and then we're going to start to replace the wall with what we actually want the wall to be. And then we can come outside and we can think, right, where do we want some detail? And I'm going to want a little bit of detail there, definitely. I'm going to want to come along and put some detail out like that. I don't want any detail at the back, because that's not going to work. We'll do something else with that, and then we'll have some detail perhaps there like that, so it's offset. We're then going to take this out and pop in this sort of shape, and again we're still pencil sketching, this is not the finished article. We're going to pop that there like that, get that the right way round, and then on this side we're going to do the same, and we're just going to see how it looks. I think if we back out a little bit, I think we've got the right sort of shape. Bring that under there. Yeah, and now we just need to replace a lot of these wall panels with blocks that are just a little bit more interesting. So scatter in some random structural blocks like that. Not there though, there. Bring in a different block, make it look a little bit interesting. It's going to remain mostly cobble because we don't want it to be a rustic house. We want it to be quite cobbly, and if you put a lot of replacement, what you can end up finding is that you have what looks a little bit too rustic. So bring in just enough to break up the wall, but not anymore. Okay, and then we can bring in a door. Where to put my door? It's in the number 9. We can come around the back, shove the door in, then at least we've got somewhere to run away. So with these steps, I've replaced just a couple of them with some stone brick steps, and that gives a little indentation. It makes the windows look a little bit more interesting. I've done the same on this side, and I've done the same over here as well. And oh, I missed. And what I want to do now is to build this out just a little bit. Now this is the structure from the inside, but we can bring this out a little more now using some more interesting blocks. So if I pull out the corners only so they're not visible from the inside, and create a a slightly more textured feel with some mossy cobble and a little bit of that, and then bring that in with some stone brick stairs. You see, it changes the shape of that and makes it instantly a little bit more interesting. What I do want to do, however, is get some mossy cobblestone wall, I think, and bring that in here, just on those two levels, to just again add a little bit more depth. I'm then going to get some lantern, and I'm going to put a lantern under every corner, and that will give a little bit of light onto the platform, so when it turns night time we don't end up falling over our own shoes. Now we've got a bit of a gap here that we want to do something with. All I'm going to do is put some vines on it like that, because vines are going to be a fairly primary feature of this build. I think if we put some vines there, put some vines up there and there. I also want to get trapdoor, and I'll put trapdoor across at the bottom there, there, and there, and then get some fence and pop that in there and there. So it looks like the fence is supporting this shutter on that window, and that's what we're trying to achieve. I'm going to get exactly the same. I'm going to do the same thing here. So come across like that, and then the same on this side. Put a bit there and a bit there, and this can come across all the way along. Time to put a little bit more detail into the build, and I find stone buttons on oak works really well, and it does a number of things. One, it stops these vines growing too far down and overwhelming the place, so I can pop that one out there and that one out there. But also it gives the impression that we've put in a stone nail that's holding this entire place together, and I think it looks quite effective. We also want to increase some of the other detail too. Now first thing we're going to do is put a little bit more light. I want to put a light over the door like that, and we want to come inside and make sure that we've got sufficient light on the inside too. Now the primary way of putting light in is going to come here, but we are going to want other light as well. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to bring in fence there, we're going to get a lantern, I'm going to pop a lantern on the underside, so that's going to hang quite nicely. We're going to do the same in this corner, and I think the same in this corner as well. So we've got some internal light working there. What I do want to now do is get rid of that block, because I want to do something that is not really a cosmetic look, it's more of a technical look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that there, and I'm going to get the campfire, and I'm going to pop the campfire on top of it. What that's going to allow us to have is the campfire smoke going a relatively high distance, because when you put campfire on top of a hay bale it goes much higher. You can see that is going up quite high, and we've got a reasonable distance. You know what I'm going to do? I'm now going to increase this a little more. Get rid of that one there, put that there, and I'm then going to put 4 steps like that, and that's going to make for a chimney that I think will work for this particular build. That works quite nicely. Okay, so now we want to increase the level of detail on the inside. Inside we're not going to have an awful lot, are we? So we're going to put ourselves a bed kind of to the side underneath that window. We're going to get ourselves a spruce trap door, and we're going to just pop it on the top half of that block there. Now we're not going to have it up or down like that, we're just going to have it sat like that, and on there we're going to put an ender chest. That then acts as a nice little shelf. It's quite subtle, it's better than a half of a block, a slab, because slabs tend to look a little bit too bulky. We can then pop another shelf there, and perhaps we can put a normal chest in that one. So let's pop that chest there, and that looks quite cool there. I'm very happy. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to use or break up some of this chimney breast here by putting in 4 furnaces. Now we could put in smokers, or we could put in, you know, more rapid styles of smelting, but I quite like the way the furnaces look here, so I'm not going to do that. I'm then going to get again more spruce trapdoor, and I'm going to pop the spruce trapdoor across the top of that, and I'm going to get 3 individual chests using shift and pop them on there as well. That gives us the ability to open them should we want to, but also keeps them out of the way. And I think we wouldn't have an awful lot more than this here. We would have a crafting table. I'm going to put a crafting table down. I think we would throw that crafting table down around about there. But what else would we have in here? We just wouldn't have anything else. Outside, however, I think is a completely different kettle of fish. I think here we would have almost like a workshopped area. So I'm going to bring in a cartography table, I'm going to bring in a crafting table, I'm going to pop a furnace in there. I think we're going to be doing all kinds of work around here. I'm going to get myself my stone tools, I'm going to get myself my grindstone. In fact, I might put the grindstone sticking off of the wall there, because that is a really effective way of using it. I'm going to pop an anvil right there. We're going to get some barrels there. Barrels can be either way up. I think I quite like the idea of having a couple that way as well. And I think we can just start to arrange a couple of chests perhaps. Might have a chest in amongst the barrels. That can go there. So this becomes a bit of a cluttered up area, but at the same time it works as a really nice workshop. I'll get a few more of the new workstations in here as well, because I think they would be well placed. I need to edge off these ends now, so we're going to come inside and I'm going to use some spruce wood, because we've got all of this oak wood and we need something that is going to come off the back of the oak wood. And I'm just going to bring in all the way around to create a rectangle that is 3 by 2. I'm going to do something similar on the other side, but of course on the other side we don't have the space to be able to do that, so we're just going to block it in completely, and the same on the other side like that. So that's great. But here what we can do is we can get ourselves some glass, pop our glass in there, and it just gives for a little bit of extra light when we come at it from the other side. I'll demonstrate that for you now. You can see, so we've got a little bit of glass there that just gives a little bit of extra interest. Now what I want to do now is remove that piece there, and I want to get myself a gate, and that gate is going to go right there. Now what were you doing, Avo? He reckons. So what we're going to get is we're going to get a, there it is, we're going to get an oak slab, and we're going to bring an oak slab out. 1, 2, 3, and which way should we go? Let's go, no, let's not go anyway. And then we're going to bring another oak slab, but that's going to be temporary. I'm then going to get some obsidian, and then you can guess what it is I'm going to do. There's my obsidian. I'm going to bring some obsidian across 1, 2, 3. I'm then going to bring it up 1, 2, 3, and we're going to create ourselves a square portal like that. What we're then going to do is we're going to remove that, that and that. We're going to get the trap door. I'm going to pop the trap door there, there and there, and we're going to open those trap doors. Now what that's going to mean is anything coming through that nether portal isn't going to get across, because we don't want it to. I'm then going to get myself a flint and steel, which is right there, and I'm going to light that nether portal, and that gives us the nether portal that we want. We can then close that gate, so we have nether portalage in our house. I told you this thing was going to have everything. The problem is the nether portal looks like it's not supported by anything, and that hurts my eyes. So we're now going to have to put in some legs for the nether portal, and given that we're going for the same feel, we're going to come up like that on that side and that on that side. We've now got a nether portal that is properly supported, and I will be able to sleep at night, because otherwise it would be horrible. Now what I'm going to do is a little bit different, certainly. So we're going to come in, what size? Just go there, have a gap of 3 there, then 1, 2, gap of 5 there, and a gap of 3 there. So we should have a, oh no, I've not quite done it right. That should be like that. We're going to bring this up 3 high, and we're going to bring in a slab, a spruce slab, so as it actually matches the the post that we've put up there, and we're going to completely cover this up so as it's, I guess it's just a bit of a shelter, but it's got a bit of a function, this particular shelter. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. So when you come in, you come up, you see doobie-doo, you can go to your house, you can go to your nether portal, but right here you can also do something else, and this is going to involve me going in the water. So I'm just going to drop down into the water. I'm going to pop that there, and I'm also going to bring the oak log down to the base like that. We then need to bring up oak log all the way around on all of these sides too, exactly like that, and then we're going to bring those in like that. We then want to get ourselves, now you could do it with sand, you could do it with blocks, you could do it with gravel. I'm just going to grab myself a little bit of gravel, and I'm going to pop some gravel into this hole. I'm not going to throw it like that because that would be wasteful. I'm going to drop gravel into the hole like that, and that will fill the hole up. I'm then going to get some ladders, and I'm going to dig myself down to the bottom, and I'm going to put ladders back up to the top here. And what that's going to allow me to do is give myself a little bit of an access to create a mine. And because what you don't want to have to do when you are living somewhere is you don't want to have to go a million miles away to get a mine. So we're just going to dig this bit out here, and then this is going to come out, and we're going to pop a light in there, a light in there, and that is our mine entrance. Perhaps our mine will go down that way, and we can dig down to get ourselves a mine exactly like that. That becomes our mine entrance. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to pop a spruce trapdoor there that then opens. That trapdoor will allow us to go up and down, in and out of that hole, but without having to worry too much about falling in if we are walking around. So that is actually another utility. We now need to put a lot more detail on the house, and we're pretty much done. One finished swamp house. I think it looks pretty good. We've got a boat to go to and from the house that sits on the mooring right there. All around this undercarriage here we've got plenty of barrels, because it just strikes me that someone that lives in a swamp probably enjoys having plenty of barrels around. We've got all of the workstations under their kind of awning lean-to effort there. We've got quite a nice attractive looking chimney. This is just an open walkway where they can just wander and look out at the swamp, if that's the kind of thing you like to do. We've got our portal is right there. We've obviously got our down to the mine that we can go down to anytime we want, and inside we've got just a nice cozy little place that is well kitted out for any swamp thing that they might want. And I think that turned out quite nicely. One more house in a place that I've never bought a house before, and done completely freestyle, and I think it turned out pretty well. If you're liking this series of videos, please do let me know by hitting that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying them, and I will keep on making them. And also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club. I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.